I've been out looking at places for some love, but everywhere I look, it points me back to you. Don't you say we got too crazy, a little mischief makes fun. You told me I was your favorite book. Was it true? Those good old days.
We would like to acknowledge that the Learning Center Literacy Association is located in Amiskwaciwâskahikan on Treaty 6 territory and within the Métis Homelands and Métis Nation of Alberta Region 4. Please join us in expressing gratitude as we acknowledge this land as the traditional territories of many First Nations such as the Nehiyaw, Dene-Sulene, Nakota Sioux, Anishinaabe, and Ntsitapi. We recognize the many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit whose footsteps have trod these lands for generations.
Le Learning Center reconnaît le territoire visé par le traité numéro 6, qui est le territoire ancestral et traditionnel des Cris et des Dene, ainsi que des Métis. Nous reconnaissons les nombreux membres des Premières Nations, les Métis et les Inuits, dont les pas foules s'éterrent depuis des générations.
Hello, my name is Evodi Bashangi, and I am a French program facilitator here at the Learning Center. I will be reading the chair's address on behalf of ELEN. Good afternoon. Thank you, each and every one of you, for being here with us today, or attending virtually as we convene the annual general meeting for the Learning Center Literacy Association. My involvement with the Learning Center started about 5 years ago after learning about the organization through a colleague of mine who was actively involved with the center as a board member. I am proud to serve along with my fellow board members who all share a passion for adult learning and an understanding of its pivotal importance to unlocking opportunity in one's life. In 2022, the center began to reintroduce in-person learning in combination with hybrid classrooms. Many of the center's staff and students are acutely aware of the unprecedented disruptions to adult learning at the outset of the pandemic that continued on for nearly 2 years. I would like to recognize the resilience of the center's students and staff in view of the economic hardships that many have faced over the past year. Navigating our current economic landscape and shouldering the impact of rising prices, inflation, and a general increase in cost of living has quite significantly affected students that attend the Learning Center's programs and classes. Many students were essentially operating in survival mode, which oftentimes left them with precious little time and energy to attend adult learning programs. In view of this reality, the center has developed a task force to help engage and recruit more adult students in the center's program. Many thanks to all board members and staff whose dedication and hard work helped the Learning Center Literacy Association adapt during another challenging year in 2022. It's truly a testament to the collective effort of our community members and staff that the center continues to thrive and advance the literacy and numeracy skills of adult learners within our community. And finally, from all of us at the Learning Center, I would like to deeply thank all of our funders in 2022. We are grateful for your willingness to champion our cause, and we look forward to continued collaboration in the years to come. Your leadership to support persevering funding for adult literacy and education program is greatly appreciated and does not go unnoticed. In closing, I am reminded of this quote from the late great Dr. Maya Angelou. We can learn to see each other and see ourselves in each other and recognize that human beings are more alike than we are unlike. Again, this is Evodi Bashangi reading on behalf of ELEN L. Baraket, Board Chair at the Learning Center Literacy Association.
Bonjour, hello. and welcome to the 2022 Annual General Assembly for the Learning Association. I'm Dennis Lapierre and I am the Executive Director of the Learning Center Literacy Association. Bonjour tout le monde, j'aimerais vous souhaiter une chaleureuse bienvenue à notre Assemblée générale pour cette année. Je suis content que vous êtes ici avec nous autres. The Learning Center has always recognized that education is a fundamental human right for all citizens, regardless of their personal circumstances. We firmly believe in providing learning opportunities to everyone, including marginalized adult students living in Edmonton. The global pandemic that began in 2020 presented significant challenges to our ability to deliver programs and services. However, during that time, all levels of government understood the hardships faced by citizens and organizations, and they provided additional resources to mitigate the adverse economic and social effects of the pandemic. As the more serious effects of the pandemic began to subside in early 2022, the economic supports that were in place also started to diminish. While many organizations received additional funding during the crisis, funding became less available as the situation improved, despite the increased need for basic health and mental health support for adult students. The increased demand for funding created heightened competition among organizations vying for limited resources. Throughout 2022, it became increasingly challenging to secure the necessary additional funding to assist those who face complex challenges arising from the pandemic. One of the specific challenges the association faced in 2022 was how to deliver programs and services effectively. When organizations were forced to close in 2020, the Learning Center was able to provide its students with the necessary technology and support for online classes. However, maintaining and sustaining technological environments for online delivery requires substantial financial resources. By 2022, there was a need to upgrade and improve the technology provided earlier during the pandemic, but limited funding posed a significant barrier. Another challenge that arose in 2021 and early 2022 when many adult learners began to lose interest in virtual learning. In September 2022, there was a noticeable decrease in learning registrations due to several factors. Firstly, the center's literacy work is based on relational pedagogy, emphasizing the importance of social interaction and a sense of belonging for marginalized students to succeed. Virtual learning, as the primary mode of delivery, often falls short in fostering these essential relationships and conditions. Secondly, inflation and the rising cost of living had a severe impact on the lives of marginalized citizens. Adult citizens at the center faced difficult circumstances that made it increasingly challenging for them to afford necessities such as food, housing, and transportation. In response to these challenges, in September 2022, the learning staff made the decision to promote in-person learning while still offering the option of virtual connectivity for students unable to attend classes at the center. This approach aimed to address the social isolation that many individuals had experienced over the past 2 years and help establish mutually supportive learning environments. By working together, students, instructors, and staff could better navigate the economic hardships faced by students. Additionally, the Learning Center developed various student engagement and recruitment strategies that contributed to a moderate reversal of declining enrollment numbers observed in early to mid-2022. Merci. Le Learning Center a toujours reconnu que l'éducation, l'apprentissage est un droit humain fondamental pour tous les citoyens et que les opportunités d'apprentissage doivent être mises à la disposition de tous les citoyens malgré les circonstances de la vie personnelle. Le début de la pandémie mondiale en 2020 a grandement mis à l'épreuve la capacité de l'association à continuer d'offrir ses programmes et services aux apprenants, apprenantes, adultes marginalisés. Cependant, à ce moment-là, tous les niveaux de gouvernement ont compris les difficultés auxquelles étaient confrontés les citoyens et les organisations et ont fourni des ressources supplémentaires pour atténuer les effets économiques et sociaux pernicieux de la pandémie. Cependant, alors que les effets les plus graves de la pandémie ont commencé à s'atténuer quelque peu au début de 2022, les soutiens économiques précédents ont également commencé à diminuer. Alors, certains défis se sont présentés en 2022, notamment un manque de fonds pour maintenir et soutenir l'environnement technologique. Deux, à la fin de 2021 et au début de 2022, était que de nombreux apprenants adultes ont commencé à perdre leur enthousiasme et leur intérêt pour l'apprentissage virtuel. Et en septembre 2022, il y a aussi une baisse notable des inscriptions d'apprenants. L'inflation et l'augmentation significative du coût de la vie ont gravement impacté la vie des citoyens marginalisés. Les apprenants du centre ont rencontré des conditions de vie qui leur ont rendu plus difficile l'accès aux nécessités de base telles que la nourriture, le logement et le transport, ce qui leur a laissé moins d'argent dépensé pour des opportunités d'éducation et d'apprentissage. De toute évidence, de nombreux apprenants adultes étaient en mode survie. En septembre 2022, en réponse à certains de ces défis, le personnel du Learning Center a décidé de promouvoir l'apprentissage en personne tout en offrant aux apprenants la possibilité de se connecter virtuellement s'ils ne pouvaient pas venir au centre pour assister aux cours. Cela a contribué à atténuer les sentiments d'isolement social que beaucoup avaient connus au cours des dernières 2 années et à établir des environnements d'apprentissage mutuellement favorables dans lesquels les apprenants, les enseignants et le personnel temporaire ensemble pour essayer de mieux faire face aux difficultés économiques rencontrées par les apprenants. Enfin, le Learning Center a développé plusieurs stratégies d'engagement et de recrutement des apprenants qui ont amorcé une inversion modérée de la baisse de nombre d'inscriptions constatées au début de la mi-2022.
In 2022, the English program began the year by transitioning to exclusively online after challenges associated with the pandemic. The lack of face-to-face interactions between facilitators and students posed some challenges. Students had to rely on video conferencing platforms such as Zoom to interact with their facilitator and classmates. This posed a challenge to students who had poor internet connectivity, lacked the necessary devices to access the online classes, or had home environments that weren't conducive to learning. We mitigated this by providing the technology necessary to participate in classes. During the summer months, in partnership with Beyond Food, we created 2 reading and writing classes to meet the needs of English language learners. The classes took place exclusively in person and were met positively. Students were engaged, and this reflected in their consistent attendance. The Learning Center decided to transition to a hybrid model during fall of 2022. This format allowed for more flexibility and choice. It also allowed the programs to accommodate students who weren't able to attend in-person classes due to various reasons. Although there were some challenges, slowly we began to see an increase in student enrollment and overall attendance.
We began the year 2022 by moving the Cree class from the Bissell Center to the Orange Hub as we made the transition from hybrid learning to online only in response to the surge in COVID cases over the winter break. The transition to online only brought its own challenges as we saw a decrease in attendance. But after a couple months, learners slowly came back, and we've seen consistent improvements in attendance and registration since.
En 2, le programme francophone du Learning Center a connu une diminution du nombre de participants. Le chiffre est passé de 72 en 2021 à 46 en 2022. Ce grand changement a été causé en raison de difficultés personnelles ainsi que des défis économiques et sociaux Nous tenons à souligner que cette année n'a pas permis le déroulement régulier de nos activités en raison de la diminution d'engagement dans nos programmes. Malgré cela, il y a eu quelques exemples de réussite, où 35% des apprenants actifs ont atteint leur objectif à court terme, 60% étaient inactifs ou inconstants, et 5% ont demandé une assistance particulière pour atteindre leurs objectifs.
I've been out looking at places for some love, but everywhere I look, it points me back to you. Don't you say we got too crazy? A little mischief makes fun. You told me I was your favorite book. Was it true? Those good old days.